Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alec Reed. This is my channel Alec Reed, and today we are reading chapter 109 of Marriage, a Heartstopper fanfiction. Are you ready for the name of this chapter? Chapter 109, Harry has a boyfriend. Yeah, I know, crazy. But anyway, before I start this chapter, I do want to say I have a personal heater going because it's cold here, like extremely cold. So if you hear anything, that's what that is. I also now have an Instagram, so I'll do questions over there. I'll do polls, all those type of things. I'll also give updates at where I'm at on all my different things. But yeah, so go check that out. It's Alec_Reads, spelled EA and not EE. But either way, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let's jump right into the story. Chapter 109. Harry has a boyfriend? Harry's perspective. He actually texted me back, I said, looking over to my boyfriend with excitement. I felt truly awful for the shit I did to Charlie and Nick. I guess I always sort of had a crush on Charlie, but hated the fact I did. Once Nick came out and they started dating publicly, I was so upset. I secretly wished that Charlie would be my boyfriend, and that's when I realized I bullied Charlie over the fact that I had a massive crush on him, and I didn't want to admit it because being gay was gross and my parents would have killed me. I'm not saying this isn't my fault, but my parents played a big role in it. They taught me since I was young that gay people go to hell and they're sick-minded. After I left home for university, I told my parents I was gay over the phone, and that I had a boyfriend. Josh was my first ever boyfriend, and I never felt happier until he started acting crazy and like a total piece of shit, but that's besides the point. My parents vowed to never talk to me again, and cut me out of their will. I didn't care about the money. I never did. I never wanted all that flashy stuff. I just wanted their love, but they didn't love me. And if I'm being honest, they never did. They thought that they could buy my love with cars and fancy clothes, but I always saw through that. Honey, let's go. That's so good. I can't wait to meet this old mate from high school. I smiled. I'm in love with him. So madly in love with him. We've only been together for 6 months, but we moved in together after only knowing each other for 2 months, and I said I love you on the 3rd date. It was bizarre, but we just clicked, and I know for sure that he's my forever. I'm all in with him, and for a change, someone has gone all in for me too. He hooked his arm around my waist, pulling me in. I looked at him and his perfect face, kissing him gently. I didn't know you were coming, I said happily. He held my back and the back of my head and touched our noses together. I'm only going to drop you off and say hello to make sure your mate knows you're taken and all mine. Then I need to go to the office. I frowned. I wish I could spend every waking moment with this man, but I know it would probably be awkward for Nick, so this was probably for the best. I haven't exactly told him that I'm gay. I blurted out. Love, it will be all right. He'll support you. You've told me a lot about him, and he seems like a delight. I kissed him before we left to meet up with Nick. Nick's perspective. I sat down in the cafe Harry wanted me to meet him at. I had my doubts. The thought of him asking me to meet up with him and him bringing Ben or some other jerks here just to say something negative about me, just because I'm bisexual, laugh at me and tell me I'm worthless just because I like a boy. Correction, I love a boy. It would be such a Harry thing to do. Trick me into coming here just to make me the center of his joke. I almost left when I saw Ron in the cafe. I instantly got up and went to say hello to him. Then Harry walked in behind him. Nick, Ron says, holding his arms out for a hug. I hug him and pat him on the back. Harry looks at us, confused, and states, You two know each other. Ron looks at Harry and says, Wait, Nick is your old friend from high school. You're meeting up with Nick." Now I was confused. Ron knew Harry? How? Harry looks at Ron and says, "Yeah, he is. Do you know him?" Ron smiles at me before saying, "He's one of my male models on contract." Harry looks shocked, but smiled after his quick state of shock. "I never would have thought that you would be a model, mate. I kind of expected professional rugby player or a rugby coach. You had major talent." I fiddled with my fingers nervously. It felt odd hearing Harry compliment me. It almost made me nervous. "How do you know Harry?" I asked, genuinely confused why the two of them came here together and how they knew each other. Harry turned red, like really red, as if he was twinning with a tomato. He looked at Ron, then looked back at me. "He's my boyfriend." I accidentally choked on my saliva. I was coughing a lot, making my reaction a lot more dramatic than I intended. I just couldn't believe it. Harry was the last person on earth I would ever think to have a boyfriend. "Sorry," I muttered. Harry laughed nervously. "Mate, you look like you've seen a ghost." I laughed nervously, too. "Well, I mean, can you blame me? I might as well have seen one." Ron kissed Harry and left, and we sat down. I had so many questions. Why would he bully Charlie for being gay if he was as well? It didn't add up. He acted so disgusted around me in the changing rooms, like I had the plague, or like I was going to try and peek at him while he was changing. He made me feel like shit for liking boys, but secretly he likes them too. Harry looked at me and just started to bawl. It took me a second before I realized what was going on, and I quickly put my hand on his shoulder, lightly rubbing it. Maybe Harry Green really did change. Chapter 110. I Forgive You. Nick's perspective. Harry wiped his tears, avoiding eye contact. He sniffled a few times before looking back at me. "I'm so sorry." I tried to console him. "Harry, it's all right. We were dumb kids." He started crying again, and I just sat there and thought about it. Being a dumb kid wasn't an excuse for bullying someone for no reason, almost driving them to kill themselves. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to make him feel worse, and I know for a fact Charlie wouldn't want me to, but he had a heart too pure for this world. I was so conflicted. I've waited for so long to tell Harry and Ben and anyone who's ever said anything remotely mean to Charlie to go fuck themselves behind a dumpster and soon contract AIDS, but because they fucking deserved it. They deserve to be told how shitty they are. But now I'm in a cafe with Harry and he's crying, saying he's sorry, and now I don't know what the fuck to do. Of course, if Charlie was here, he would know exactly what to do, and I know what it is. I stood up and quickly went up to the register. "Can I order 2 green teas with sugar and cream?" I wasn't more than a minute before she handed me the teas. I paid, then I walked back to our table. I placed the drink in front of him and sat back down across from him. He wrapped his hands around the cup, feeling the warmth it emitted. "Thank you," he said, and it made me smile. This was the right thing to do. "You know, I was kind of a dick to you back in high school." He looked up at me. "Really?" he said, unconvinced. I frowned, thinking back on my mistakes. "Yeah. I heard Charlie was getting bullied, and I didn't think twice about it. What I thought was, oh, some gay kid is getting bullied, who cares? I heard what people were doing to him, and I knew people were sticking gum in his hair." My voice cracked, but I held it together. People were calling him slurs. I heard people do it, and I didn't do one thing. I knew people were leaving him fake love letters, and I knew people were throwing his backpack into the trash can, and I didn't fucking do anything. I didn't do shit. I was just as bad as the people doing it. Harry looked at me, then looked down. "I'm not friends with Ben." or do I talk to him? What he did to Charlie was unforgivable and sick. How did Harry know about that? How do you know what happened? Ben's not telling people, is he? My blood boiled thinking about him trying to intervene in Charlie's life again, bringing up the past for no reason, opening the healing scars. He told me he forced Charlie to kiss him, pinning him against the wall for fun. He reassured me he wasn't gay, said he was just having some fun messing around. It was the most sick thing I've ever heard. Someone say I walked away and never spoke to him again. That's what that snake was telling people? Jesus, he's such a waste of air. If I ever see him again, my fist is going into his face and breaking his nose before I kick the shit out of him. I fucking hate that prick. I said probably a little too loud. Older couples were starting to stare in my direction. How is Charlie? If you don't mind me asking. I know, well, I cut him off, knowing exactly what he meant. Charlie is doing good, actually. We've built a life together, and he's happy, and I'm happy. We're both happy. Charlie smiled, genuinely. You could tell he was happy for us. I'm so sorry for what I did to him. Could you please tell him how sorry I am? I responded to Harry's request with, well, Charlie definitely won't want a second-hand apology. You could come around and talk with him if you want. He smiled again and sat up a bit more, looking less hunched over, taking in a first sip of tea. I would really like that. Back at the house. We walked into mine and Charlie's apartment, and I saw Charlie sitting on the couch. He didn't bother looking up from the television. When he heard me walk in, he just said, I missed you, baby, and I started watching TV without you. And oh my God, you won't believe what happens. I know how much you love spoilers, but I won't tell you until you give me something in return. Kisses are a valid option, and cuddles are a must. Come cuddle me on the couch. I slightly laughed at what he said in front of Harry, but it didn't bother me. I had the sweetest boy alive, and wasn't scared to show him off anymore. He turned around and looked at us. His eyes immediately went wide and his face went so red. He looked down and said, Oh my God, I didn't know you were coming. I'm so sorry. I'll move out of your guys' way. He said, this still looking down, fixing the pillows and couch cushions before walking away from the living room. We walked behind him. I said, Char, wait. Come sit with us. He looked at me, then at Harry. No, it's all right. You were friends with Harry in high school, and I wasn't. I won't intrude. I'll go into the bedroom. I felt awful for Charlie. He was still scared of him. So much he was running away from him in his own house. Did I make a mistake bringing Harry here? Charlie went to walk into our bedroom, and at the last second, Harry grabbed his wrist, spinning him back around. Charlie looked so scared when he saw it was Harry holding him and not me. I quickly threw my arm around Charlie, making him feel safe, tucking him into my chest. He always says he feels safe when he's in my arms. I needed to show him that he was safe so he wouldn't freak out before Harry could explain himself. Charlie, I'm so sorry. I know that this isn't enough, and I'm not here for your forgiveness or to feel better about myself. I completely understand if you never forgive me, and I will respect that. I just want you to know how bad I feel and how much I regret everything and how much regret I have for saying all that stuff to you. Ben told me what he did to you, and I never knew he did that. I'm so sorry. Harry teared up, and so did Charlie. And after a second of silence, Charlie threw his arms around Harry. I forgive you, Charlie whispered. Alright, that is the end of today's episode. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I know that this was kind of a roller coaster, but we'll get through this together. Let me know in the comments whether you want to see anything else. Like, subscribe, and comment down below whether it's just saying hello or whether it's leaving recommendations. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Goodbye, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.